prophets speak what we understand. Open wide our ears to heed. Speak, Torah speaks from heaven here. Torah, show your kingdom. Spirit, show the day of your land. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. A heart not hardened, open our eyes, so we never wander where Israel died. The seventh day awaiting for those who arise. Your kingdom that day is your land. To enter at the border we stand. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. Standing at the edge of the borders of your land, open our eyes to see. Listen to your prophets speak what we understand. Open wide our ears to heed. Speak, hear. Spirit, show the day of your land. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. A heart not hardened, so open our eyes, so we never wander where Israel died. The seventh day waiting for those who arrive. Your kingdom that day is your land. A heart not hardened, so open our eyes, so we never wander where Israel died. The seventh day waiting for those who arise. Your kingdom that day is your land. So to enter at the border we stand. Your kingdom that day is your land. To enter at the border we stand. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, will forever stay. In the kingdom your name is a tower. In the kingdom your name is a tower. listen to your prophets speak what we understand, and open wide our ears to hear. Speak, Torah speaks from heaven. Hear, Torah show the kingdom. Spirit show the day is on land. Bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, we'll forever stay in the kingdom. Your name is a tower. So bring us into your holy day. Bring us into your holy power. Bring us in, we'll forever stay in the kingdom. Your name is a tower. In the kingdom, your name is a tower. In the kingdom, your name is a tower. In the kingdom, your name is a tower. Lord, open our ears to what we do. Open our ears to all of the things that you gave as pictures of heavenly things. Open our ears to the acts. Open our ears to the times. Open our ears to the prayers. Open our ears to the scriptures that we do. Not just that we read, but that we do. And I ask that you would speak to our ear, our spiritual ear, so that it becomes real, lada'at et Adonai, to know, to have knowledge of the Lord. Thank you, Abba, for giving us just a tiny little bit of your power, of your holiness, and of your day. Thank you, Abba. This Torah portion, Ekev, basically I wrote a book about this one word, Ekev. And it's this book, Obedience or Understanding. It is the sister volume to Pictures, Judaism as Metaphors of All Heavenly Things, the original book on pictures. This is what Pictures leads to. The understanding of the difference between obedience, which is bad, and understanding, which is good. And this book explains it perfectly. And it all comes from that one word, Ekev. Now, I don't do that in the book because it's too complicated. I don't want to say this whole book is based on Ekev. But that's what it is. It's all based on this one word, Ekev. The reason is this. God did not give Abraham commandments. He gave Abraham understanding and wisdom and knowledge and all that. And everybody knows that. But the way he started saying to Isaac, his son, that I'm going to give you the land, I'm going to give you the blessing, I'm going to give you all the blessings that I gave Abraham, is Ekev, because Abraham did Judaism. And he gives 4 synonyms for Judaism. So why start it with the word Ekev? Ekev means heel, the heel of the foot. And not only does it start with the word Ekev when God is explaining why he blessed Isaac because of Abraham, he then, in this Torah portion, starts this entire portion about doing the mitzvot with this word Ekev. And so the Torah portion is called Ekev. It is, in my opinion, it is the second most important thing in all of Judaism. You know what I think is the first most important? Pictures. That everything in Judaism is a picture to learn from. Or why do it? And if that's true, if we're supposed to learn from the stuff that we do, what does it lead to? It leads to understanding. Understanding, not obedience. Now, I want to say this because I always forget. like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube Tzion channel. Tell people about it, show it to people. I know the teachings are long, but that shouldn't stop anybody nowadays because everybody likes to watch videos. And these are the things that people have always wanted to know. They've always wanted to know this basic stuff. Why Judaism? Why are Christians all turning to Judaism? This is why. It's a picture of Messiah, and it leads to Lada'at et Adonai, the knowledge of God, to know the Lord. All right, so in Devarim, chapter 7 is the first of 10 passages. It's the first of 10 passages. There's already been a couple that say this. Listen to the mitzvot. Now what you're going to see is that Rashi says this. He doesn't say listen to the mitzvot spoken and then do it. He says listen to the mitzvot that you do. These are not my words. This is not something I came up with. You're going to see Rashi say it, and I'll show it to you and I'll explain it. So it starts here in Devarim 7:12. We're going to read 12 through 16. It will come about Ekev. And it's written so strange in Hebrew that there's no way to translate it properly. So everybody's tried, and the best they can come up with is the word because. Not a good translation. It shall come about because, or on the heel of, you listen or listening to these judgments, and you keep and do them. What came first? Listening or doing?
It says listening.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So most people think, all right, I heard God say, do this. I'm doing it. I'm a good boy. I'm a good girl. Not what it's saying at all, which we'll get more into. It will come about on the heel of, or just really the heel. It will come about the heel you listen to. What does that mean? It will come about the heel that you listen to. So what's another way to say that?
After you listen?
Say it again.
After you listen?
No, just that phrase. Just that phrase. It will come about the heel that you listen to.
Heel that you pay attention to.
Okay, the heel that you pay attention to. What's another way to say that? How about listen to the heel? No?
Sure.
Does that make sense or not? That's because you're stuck to the English. And I already told you can't translate this in English and understand it. You have to go with the Hebrew. It says, Ekev, well, I'll show you in the Hebrew in a bit. Ekev, you listen. That's what it says. Or actually it says to. Ekev, you listen to.
So doesn't the listen to apply to the following word judgment?
You're stuck to the English. I'm trying to show you the Hebrew. The Hebrew, you can bust a word out and just look at the word. You don't have to cram them all together and finish the sentence for it to make sense to you. What we're trying to do is figure out what God is trying to say to us, not what we understand. And I'm going to show you that Rashi says this. This is why I'm trying to show it to you, because this takes a lot to really hear Rashi say this. But what Rashi says is, it will come about the heel you listen to these judgments, and you keep and you do them. Okay? Now that's how he divides it, and that's how he makes it make sense. So what's he saying? Listen to what?
Well, you're saying he's saying listening to the heel.
Listen to the heel, all right? Right now I'm just trying to show you what Rashi says and what I believe. Okay, I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just trying to get your head wrapped around it so you can think about it. Then I will present the facts that prove it. And if you can't follow it after I present all the facts, then we got a problem. Because that means I didn't do my job, or you didn't do your job, or both. So right now I'm just trying to get you to see how Rashi breaks this down. Okay, did you follow that?
Yes.
It will come about the heel you listen to. Then these judgments, and you keep and do them, and the Lord will keep his covenant with you and his faithfulness, which he swore to your fathers, and he will love you. Why? Because you listen to the heel. Because you listen to the heel, so we can figure out what the heel is. If you listen to the heel, and these judgments, and you keep and you do them, the Lord will keep his covenant with you and his faithfulness, which he swore to your fathers, and he will love you, and he will bless you, and he'll make you numerous. And he'll bless the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your ground, and your grain, and your new wine, and your oil, and the newborn of your cattle, and the offspring of your flock. Everybody reads it and goes, oh, all I have to do is either obey the commandments or listen to God. And the whole point is missed. And what Rashi is trying to do, and the other sages as well, is to bring us back to the first cause so that God can do this. But you can't just say, oh, that applies to me, I'm going to grab that. What the rabbis and the sages do is bring us back to the first cause, and what is the if? If what? If what? So you go to keep and do it. But what they're doing is bringing us back even farther to listen to the heel.
Yeah, but the if would apply to all of it.
Of course it does. Of course it applies to all of it. But the thing is, what's the if? If what? So what people say is, obey the commandments or listen to God's voice. And what the rabbis are saying is, okay, but it doesn't say that. What it says is basically listen to the heel. All right, so I'm going to try to really make this understandable. I know right now it's very fuzzy and hard to understand. I get that, because I had to go through the same process. All right, so God will do all this wonderful stuff if you, whatever the first cause is. And there will be no sterile, where am I? Your new wine and you shall be blessed above all peoples. There will be no sterile male or infertile female among you or among your cattle, and the Lord will remove you from all sickness, and he will not inflict on you any of the harmful diseases of Egypt, which you have known. Now, this is a direct quote from a passage in Exodus 13 that says, if you listen to the mitzvot, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on Egypt. Exactly like it says here. But it starts the same way. If you listen to the mitzvot, not listen to them said, listen to them acted out. Listen to them as you do them. You follow that?
Wait, it refers back to which verse?
It's in Exodus 13. Maybe you can help me find it.
Because they teach you.
Because they teach you, right. By the way, all of this is in the book. Okay. So then he says, but he will give them those diseases to Egypt. Those same diseases that I won't be, it's Exodus 15, I'm sorry. Exodus 15:26, I'm sorry. If you will hear with hearing the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, doing and giving ear to his mitzvot. Not giving ear to him talking, giving ear to his mitzvot and keep his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I've put on Egypt. So it's a direct quote. So then he'll take those diseases and put them on those who hate you. You shall consume all the peoples whom the Lord your God will turn over to you. Your eyes shall not pity them, and do not serve their gods, because that's a snare to you. All right. This is huge, huge statements that are very, very difficult to understand. So we have to really figure out what it's saying through looking at the Hebrew and looking at the sage's words carefully. Carefully. It will come about because, or on the heel of. Now, I put because just so we can understand. That's all. It's not good translation. Doesn't help make sense of the verse. But we think in English, so it's just a way to translate it that we can understand. Excuse me. So in Hebrew, this is what it says. V'haya, and it will be. Ekev, heel. Tishmon, tishmaon. What does tishmaon mean? See the word Shema? You see it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Shin, mem, ayin. You see that word in tishmaon? So it's a form of the word Shema, to hear. And it's you, plural, future. It will be heel that you listen to hamishpatim, the judgments, ha'ele, the this, or these judgments. Hamishpatim ha'ele, the mishpatim, the judgments, the this, or these, the these. Ushmartem, and you keep otam, them. That's a word-for-word translation. Did you follow it? I need feedback because I need to know if you're getting it.
Say it again.
Okay, I'll say it again. It's all right. If you want me to do it again, I'll do it again. It's all right. V'haya, what does that mean? It will come about. It will be. V'haya, it will be. Ekev, what does it mean? Heel. Tishmaon, what does that mean? You, plural, future, will listen. To hamishpatim, the judgments, ha'ela, the these judgments. Ushmartem, and guard or keep. Ushmartem, and guard and keep, otam, them. Okay? Yeah? All right. Okay. Now Rashi reads that as, and it will come about the heel that you listen to. Done. So, it's another way to say that.
Yeah.
Listen to
You're saying the heel, but
the heel.
this is how much patim there.
We're not there. You keep thinking in English and jumping the gun. I'm telling you that the sages read this together for a reason. And it will be, V'haya, Ekev, heel, Tishmaon, you will listen et to.
So Ekev would be hamish patim.
Well, that's, now you're thinking. So you're saying, so Ekev is the Mishpatim. So they go into this huge discussion, which I'll just talk about. I won't show you because it's enormous. It's not the Mishpatim, it's the other one that he doesn't mention. I'll show you more. But you're thinking correctly now. Then it says, after that statement, it will be the heel you listen to. The mishpatim, the these, and you guard them. Okay? So,
You may think that because you listen to the heel, that will cause you to guard the statute.
that's it. Say that again.
Because you've listened to the heel, the result of that is going to be that you guard and observe the judgments and the statutes.
Perfect. Because you listen to the heel, whatever that is, it causes you to guard and keep the judgments, and then God does all this wonderful stuff for us. That's exactly it. Very, very well put. All right, so Rashi, now what I've done is this week I've put when they were, because I want you to know when the sages were in the timeline. It's going to become important later on. Rashi, from the 11th century, And you need to know that this is the guy that all the sages after base their words on. Why? Because Rashi pulled all the words of the sages from the past together, knew all of them, commented on all of them, and was able to synthesize them into a very simple statement. Nobody else was able to do that, like Rashi. And he says, again, he starts with the English just so we can understand. It was actually in French. And the consequence will be if you listen. And then he says, the Hebrew text may be taken to signify if you will hear the heel. When I read that, I went, what? How do you get that from the Hebrew? So I started working with it, and I saw, oh, God, it's so simple. It's so simple. Just break it up properly. Just break it up properly. The first phrase, V'haya ekev tishma'on et hamishpatim ha'ele ushmartem otam. Simple. Because I was cramming it all together into a phrase just like you were. And it's a problem. But he says, no, separate the phrase out to see what it's really saying. The Hebrew text may be taken to signify if you will hear the Ekev. So what's the question we need to know?
What's the Ekev?
Exactly, what's the Ekev? And so they go into this enormous page long discussion about what's the Ekev. And it's brilliant. It is so brilliant. So he says, after saying, listen to the heel, if even the lighter mitzvot, which a person usually treads on with his heels, that is, which a person is inclined to treat lightly, if you will listen to that.
So if you pay attention to even the smallest details of the mitzvah,
keep going.
then you'll observe the bigger one.
That's exactly right. If you listen to the very smallest mitzvah, you are doing this. You are listening to the heel. So what's the heel? The smallest mitzvah. The one that people don't care about.
Right.
The ones that people grind under their heel because they don't care. And when I say they, I mean we. We grind it under our heel because we don't care. We don't care. We're going to do what we want to do. And where Rashi's point is this. That little thing is so important. That's what you're supposed to be listening to. Listen to the heel. Yes?
When I read it, one of the things said, it's like the rosh is the head, it's the top, it's the most important. But we're the ones that assign that value to it. And then the heel are the smaller things that we step on because we see them as insignificant.
That's exactly right. There's the head and the heel. Head is the top, heel is the bottom. Who says which law, which quote law is at the head and which is at the heel? We decide.
Haven't the sages done that?
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that. That's a good question. I asked the same thing. Didn't they do that? Okay. But we assign what we think is important and what we think is not important.
Yeah, we do that.
And then we do what we want, and that's it. End of story. And what he's saying is, flip it. Take the stuff that you think is so unimportant, listen to that. That's the heel. You with me so far? Okay, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. Now, Ibn Ezra from the next century, 12th century, says, because, or Ekev, has the same meaning as Ekev, reward. Reward? Where does he get that from? In forever to the end, or forever reward, Psalm 119, 112. Which says, I will keep your mitzvot forever to the end. So what's he saying? He's saying that this whole world of keeping the mitzvot is based on reward and punishment. We don't want to talk about punishment, but all of Judaism is based on, and I don't really like the word punishment. There's no such Hebrew word for that. It's discipline, it's spanking, it's vengeance, it's revenge, it's correction, it's consequences, all these words. Not really punishment, but we'll use punishment just so we can understand there's reward and there's punishment. And there's a scale. And it tips one way or it tips the other for us individually and for all of Israel. And so what they're going to show us is that we can tip the scale toward reward. How? By listening to the heel, the small things. If we deal with the small things and listen to the small things, we tip the balance of that reward. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm going to give you some more that Ibn Ezra says, but who wrote Psalm 119?
Wasn't it David?
David. And David says over and over and over again, I have kept your mitzvot, and I shall see in the kingdom. I will see in the end. I will be rewarded in the end. I will receive my due in the end. And this is one of the verses he's quoting. So how do you get your reward? He's saying, listen to the Ekev. Forever to the end, or forever reward. It means the reward which will be given at the end. Make sense? The meaning of who keeps covenant in the previous verse, verse 9, is that God kept the covenant with Abraham. And if you are among those that love him, it's not emotion. What does love him mean? Say it louder.
To keep his judgment.
To keep the mishpat, the mishpatim, keep the mitzvot. Loving him is keeping the mitzvot. Then he will continue to keep the covenant. He will love you, and bless you, and multiply you. But what's the whole thing based on? Listening to the heel, the little ones. So the judgments aren't the little ones. There's something else that's the little ones. And they go into this long, like I said, a long dissertation about this. So whatever he's referring to here, V'haya ekev tishma'on et, and it will be that the heel you listen to, the judgments, these that you keep and you keep them, it's different from the judgments. It's something else. So, give me some words for the quote commandments in Hebrew. In Hebrew. Say it again. Chokim or Hokim. What is that? Hold on. What is that? Hokim is what? Statutes. Statutes. What else? Mishpatim. What is that? Judgments. Give me another one. Mitzvot. That's just general established things or set up things. What else? Say it again. Chukat.
Oh yeah, Chukat, yeah.
Didn't we already say statutes? We already said chukat, statutes.
They're the same thing, yes.
Chukim, and it's the same thing. Chukat is possessive. Okay, so there's another one. Starts with an You don't remember? Edut.
Oh yeah.
Edut, testimonies. They translate as testimonies. Okay? All right, those are all. Oh, there's another one. Mishmarim. The cycles, the standing cycles of the new moon, the Sabbath, the festivals, Mishmarim. Okay, so these are all synonyms for what are kept. Which one do you think is the Ekev, the little ones? And that's the discussion that they launch into. Now Ramban or Nachmanides, from again the 13th century. He was the head rabbi of Spain. And the commentators have said that the meaning of the word Ekev is that in the end there will be reward. Now why is it relating it to the end?
Even Ezra said it.
Yeah, but why did he say it?
Because David said it in Psalm 9.
Yeah, but why did David say it? Remember what Eileen said? Head,
Oh, yeah.
end, heel. Head, top, end, heel. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, that's what the concept they're working from. There's the head and there's the heel, the beginning and the end. All the commentators, and the commentators, have said that the meaning of the word Ekev is that in the end there will be reward. Similarly, in keeping them, the judgments, Ekev Rav. What does Ekev Rav mean? Rav is big or much or high, and Ekev is heel. There is much heel. That's weird. In keeping them, there is much heel. So obviously it doesn't mean heal, does it?
Equating it to be reward.
It means reward. In the end, in keeping them, there's much reward. There's a lot of reward. Ekev Rav. That's in Psalm 19:10. It literally says, there will be Ekev Rav. Great heel. Whoop-de-doo. What does that mean? Great rewards. Why? Because the heel is the reward. Yes or no?
Yes.
The end is the reward. Why is Ekev the end? Okay, I lost you. Why is Ekev the end?
You don't get it in advance.
Because it's at the bottom of the body. Head, beginning, Rosh. What does Rosh mean?
Head.
Then why do we say Rosh Hashanah? Beginning of the year. Beginning, end. Beginning,
And
end.
the heel would be the end.
Beginning,
Makes sense.
end. So what's the Ekev? The end. And what lies for us at the end? Great reward. So therefore, heel, the thing that we're supposed to listen to, is also what we're rewarded for. Rewarded for. And David was saying, I keep that. The little ones. I don't worry about the big ones. I keep the little ones because that's where my reward is coming from. Are you following? Okay. Yes.
Also, the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that Ekev is at the heels of Mashiach. So that
We're going to get there.
would be-
We're going to get there. Okay.
So who would Ramban be referring to when he says commentators?
All the sages.
That's right.
Previous. What's the first one? Mishnah. Well, what's after the Mishnah? Gemara or Talmud. What's after the... Oh, and by the way, at the same time as the Mishnah, the Midrashim. And then after Midrashim. All the commentators, all the sages came from those three basic clusters of books. And that's who he's talking about. Okay. I'm going to read this again. This verse is saying, and the end, the ultimate consequence, because at the end of your listening to the judgments and you're observing them, is that God will keep the covenant and the mercy and he will love you. Now here he says, listening to the judgments. Why does he say it? I thought it was the heel we're supposed to listen to, and then you got the judgments.
Well, one leads to the other.
Exactly. Because you're supposed to listen to the chokim, statutes, the mishpatim, judgments, stay with me, the edut, what is that? Witness or testimonies. The mitzvot, what is that? Established things, what they call commandments.
Mishmarim.
Mishmarim, what is that? Cycles, the cycles. Okay. We're supposed to listen to all of it. Yes? Okay, that's why he said that. Now, Kli Yakar, we're going to skip 3 centuries and go to the 16th century. Kli Yakar. By connecting the statutes to the judgments. What? What does that mean? By connecting the statutes to the judgments, who connected the statutes to the judgments?
The sages.
Where?
Midrash, Talmud.
No. Here. You can see the judgments, yeah? The mishpatim. So where are the statutes? Ekev. Now, this is this big, giant discussion I told you about. It goes on for pages and pages and pages. Listen to what I'm saying. What they come up with is, if we're supposed to be listening to the heel, and then he later mentions the mishpatim, but the heel is not the mishpatim, it's something else.
Right.
What are the smallest mitzvot? The ones we don't understand.
we ignore.
The ones we ignore because we don't understand them. We don't understand them.
We don't value them.
Which mitzvot are the ones that all of Judaism says, we do it even though we don't understand it?
That's the Hokim.
The Hokim, the statutes. Yeah?
Yeah,
They don't know why they keep kosher.
right.
It's a commandment.
They just do it because it was told to.
Exactly. They don't know why we do the red heifer.
Right.
We do it. Why? We were told to. The red heifer falls under what Torah portion? Hukim. Statutes. And the very first thing the rabbis say is, we don't know why we do this. That's what makes it a chok, a statute.
Got that one figured out.
Now, I don't agree with that at all. I think I disagree with it 100%. But I can follow their logic. But we know why we do it. It preaches, it talks to us. There's a lot of rabbis who it talked to, and they wrote down how it talked to them. But for the most part, Israel just does the chukim without knowing why. That's the heel. Name for me some different kinds of Judaism. English or Hebrew. Name for me some different words for Judaism. English or Hebrew, I don't care. Come on. This is the quiz. Come on. It's your turn. No. Torah. Come on.
Vessels.
All right. The ones we just talked about. Mitzvot. Chokim. Statutes. Keep going. Edut. Edut. Good. Huh? The what? The cycle. The standing cycle. The cycle. The mishmarim. What else? Anything else? Okay. Which one of those is the one that nobody cares about? The heel. Say it louder. Chukim. Chukim. Good. Chukim. What is a chok?
Something that we do that we don't understand.
Well, we understand. It's a statute. All right? And what do the sages say? Listen to the little ones. The Ekev. Why is it called Ekev? What's at the top? The head. What's at the bottom? Or the end? The heel, the Ekev. So at the end is our reward. What are we rewarded for? Say it louder.
Listen to it.
I can't hear you.
We're listening to it.
Listening to what?
The hill.
The heel. Listening to the little ones, the heel. And that's why we're rewarded for it in the end. Now, I know that's a lot of connecting the dots. It wouldn't be so much if we were Jews, if we did Judaism. It wouldn't be so hard. But it is hard. It's a lot of dots to connect. But I think we got it so far.
Well, especially since you're saying the heel means not just the little things, but it also means a reward. And okay.
Yeah, we're rewarded for the Ekev because it's in the end. Because the heel is the end. And it's in the end. There will be great Ekev. Whatever that means. Well, it means great reward.
Great end.
Great end. Okay. Now we're going, this is also Ramban, Nachmanides. Is this the same thing? No. Oh, we didn't finish Kli Yakar.
No.
So he says, And regarding this, now he says, okay, let me give you some more understanding. Regarding this, he interpreted the verse, how abundant is your goodness that you have stored up for those who fear you. Stored up where? When? In the end. You have acted for those who take refuge in you in the sight of people. Psalm 31. This means, what do you think it means? I love the way I broke that right here. This means what? What do you think that means? How abundant is your goodness that you've stored up for those who fear you.
Did you get a reward at the end?
You get a reward for?
Following the Ekev.
Following the Ekev. Okay, so you should say something like that. That one who fulfills the statutes, what's the statutes? The healed, the chokim, the ones that nobody cares about. The one who fulfills the heal, the statutes, is doing something that is contrary to people. People don't like it. They don't care about it. Opposing most people. Let's talk about kosher laws. Why do we keep kosher? Say that louder.
Because it's a picture of heavenly things.
Okay, because it's a picture of heavenly things. Anything else?
Because it shows that we think about what we are doing and why we're doing it.
It shows that we're thinking about what we're doing and why we're doing it. All right, I'll give you that. Anything else? Any other reason why we keep kosher?
We learn about what we learn about the kingdom by seeing the different animals and what makes them not good.
Right. We were examining the food or the animals itself to learn from. Just what Anthony said, right? Is there any other reason why we keep kosher? Hold on. Go ahead.
Well, for me, it's a picture of what I want to represent.
So you want to match whatever you're learning from those animals?
In my life.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. We learn from the animals, and then we want to match that template, right? Okay, all great answers. That's a billion miles away from what anybody else does. It's directly opposite from whatever anybody else does on this planet. Kosher laws are like the perfect distillation of what makes Jews different. And so he says, and by the way, kosher laws are a chukim. They're a chok. There's no information given in the Bible why. All it says is, so you will be holy, whatever that means. That's all it says. I'm holy, so be like me. Don't eat a pig. That's all it says. There's no information there in the Bible why.
Say why.
It does not say why. That makes it a chok. So this is a really, really good example of chukim, of the heel. The one who fulfills the heel, the statute, is doing something that's contrary to people, opposing most people, since the majority mock these mitzvot. Why won't you eat pork? Why won't you eat pork? Come on.
There really isn't a good answer to it.
It's delicious.
Pigs are like kind of the cleanest animal out there.
Well, what I'm saying is this is what people say. I mean, we had it at work how many times? Why won't you guys eat pork? They said it all the time. I had an answer. I just thought it was a good answer, but whatever. So they mock these mitzvot, and the one who fulfills them surely expects only the reward of the world to come. There's no reward for it in this world. But Christians will tell you, Messianic Jews will tell you, Hebrew Christians will tell you, no, there is great reward, it's healthy. That is not what Scripture says at all, anywhere, ever. It says that the reward comes Ekev, in the end, not now. Do you understand what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with health, and it never did, and there's a reason for it. It's because our mind is supposed to be on the Ekev, on the end, on the kingdom. The one who fulfills them surely expects only the reward of the Olam Haba, the world to come. For in this world, their benefit isn't shown to us. There is no health benefit to it. We don't see that. I don't care what you tell me. There's no health benefit to eating kosher. We don't get to see the benefit here, as is the benefit of the judgments. Can you think of a judgment in the Bible? Remember, there's 52 of them in the Torah portion, Mishpatim.
If you touch something unclean, you have to be outside the camp.
That's not one of the Mishpatim.
Oh, they said judgment.
I did. That's not one of the Mishpatim. You can't remember any of the 52 Mishpatim? Wow. Okay. How about, well, let's keep it simple. Don't murder. What happens if you murder? You do? In Judaism, you go to jail? No, you don't.
Basically, you die.
You die. You die by strangulation, beheading, burning, or stoning. Those are the 4 capital punishments. Murder is stoning, I believe. All right? So, if you murder, your life is taken. Is that not an immediate judgment? Okay. How about stealing? If you steal, what happens to you in Judaism? No, that's Arabs. Arabs do that nonsense. You got to pay back plus a penalty, 20%. Right?
Yeah.
Is that a judgment? An immediate judgment? Yep. It's just, law and judgment. That's judgments. We see those results immediately. You go to a Beit Din, they make a judgment, you pay. What judgment is going to happen to me for eating a shrimp? Or not eating a pig? What judgment is going to be done? We don't see it. There isn't one. It's all up here and in here. Because we think about, what reward am I going to get? It was so hard to keep kosher my whole life. It was so hard, but I did it. And so I'm going to be rewarded for it in the kingdom. And that's all there is to it. Why? Because that's an Ekev. You don't see a reward for an Ekev.
You said Lashon Hara, that's...
Lashon Hara.
No, that's a great evaluation.
Lashon Hara, which mitzvah are you breaking if you do Lashon Hara?
It's murder.
No, it's not murder.
That's 9th one. It's your blasphemy.
Remember we read it in 3 weeks ago when we were looking at Kiddushim. And it said, you shall not hate your neighbor in your heart. You shall bear no grudge. Yes? You shall not speak Lashon Hara about your neighbor.
That's the 6th murder. You're murdering with your words.
No, all the mitzvot fall under one of the 10 words. But I'm just talking about the thing itself. Before we put it in the category, is it a judgment that you can be taken to court for? That's my question. Can you be taken to court for Lashon Hara in Judaism?
I think so.
Absolutely you can. And you got to pay. Yes, so it is a judgment. It's a mishpat. Okay. Where are we? Okay, Or HaChaim. Now we're going to go to the 16th to 17th. Sorry, 17th to 18th century. Moses tells us, as a result of your listening to these statutes, listening to what? Yeah, not listening to God say stuff. Not listening to Moses telling us things. Not listening in church or in synagogue to the rabbi saying something or the pastor saying stuff. Listening to the chok itself. Listening to the heel itself. As a result of you listening to these statutes, you will become joyful. There are other instances when the word Ekev is used in a similar way by our sages, such as in Mishnah Sota 49, where it says that at the end, Akvata, Ein, Kaf, Vet. that the word Ekev? Look at it. Is that the word Ekev? Ein, Kaf, Vet. Yes or no? Come on, say yes or no. Make a choice.
I don't remember.
Oh, you add some, there's some letters added. But yeah,
There's Ekev.
you could-
Ein, Kuf,
Oof, not
Vet. This one is Ein, Kaf, Vet. It is Ekev.
well different.
Yeah, so the kuf and the kaf can be interchangeable when you add something to the word, apparently, because he translates it exactly the same. Mishnah Sota 49, where it says, at the end, akvata, see the ta on the end?
Yeah.
The tav and the aleph? Because you've crammed that on the end, you can then change the kuf to a kaf.
Okay.
And you're all right. At the end of the period preceding the arrival of the Messiah, disrespectful behavior will be the norm. Ekvata Mashiach.
Ain't that the truth?
What does that mean? Ekvata HaMashiach. It means in the footsteps of the Messiah, in the heels of the Messiah. That's why they call the day of the Lord, or the birth pangs, footsteps of the Messiah. Ekvata HaMashiach. Because it's his heels. And at the end, it is at the end, that it's going to be norm for there to be disrespectful behavior. Similarly, once people have reached the level where they fulfill all of God's mitzvot, they qualify for a life full of joy. So don't tell me we can't do all the mitzvot. We absolutely can. We just can't do the ones with no temple, that's all. But we can study those, and that's just like doing them. So what he's doing is he's saying that Ekev is the end. And Ekev is in the heels of the Messiah. And that's what you were bringing in earlier about what the Lubavitcher Rabbi said about at the end, in the footsteps of Messiah. Do you want to add to that?
Well, basically he was saying that it is announcing that that last generation will be coming in the footsteps of Messiah, and they will be able to hear the mitzvot, louder and have understanding to do them, because
They'll be able to hear the mitzvot better. But at the same time, disrespect is the norm, and it's worse than it's ever been. But at the same time, more ability to hear the mitzvot speak. So now we're back to this. Obedience or understanding. What this book says, and what I've shown you so far, is that the rabbis say we're not supposed to listen to God's nebulous voice. What are we supposed to listen to? The Ekev, which is what? Which is what? What do we listen to? The chukim, the statutes, the judgments, the mishpatim, the edut, the torot, the mishmarim, all the words for Torah and mishpat. Mitzvot. All the words for Judaism. We're supposed to listen to the act itself. And that's what the purpose of me writing this book is. It's not to listen to some nebulous voice and say, I've heard God. If you do the mitzvot and then it talks to you, you have heard God. And you can say with absolute authority, I have heard God. I know I've heard him. How do you know? Because I saw it. I acted it out and I literally watched it talking to me. And I got all this amazing revelation from it. That's hearing God's voice. V'haya ekev tishma'on, and it will be the heel you listen to. Now does it make sense? Now does it make sense? Yeah? It's clear? Yeah. V'haya ekev tishma'on, and it will be the heel you listen to. Okay, Genesis 26, 4 through 5. Look how it starts. I will multiply your seed. This is God talking to Isaac. I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and will give your seed all these lands, and by your seed all the nations of the earth will be blessed. The heel, Abraham listened to my voice. So how did how did Abraham hear God's voice? You missed it. You missed it. You missed it. And by your seed, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. The heel, Abraham listened to my voice. How did Abraham hear God's voice? The heel. Isn't that weird that it would start with the word heel? So it keeps saying the same thing over and over again. The heel is how you hear God's voice. The lowest, the smallest, the nothing that nobody cares about. That's how you hear God's voice. By the chokim, the statutes that everybody says, we don't know what it means. We don't know why we do this. We don't know why you're doing it. That's how we hear God's voice. Now, if you can't follow that, the next 3 pages you're going to be gone. Totally lost. So make sure you get your head wrapped around what God said. That Abraham, the heel, Abraham listened to. My voice, kept my mishmarim, my mitzvot, my chukim, my torot. So, tell me what Abraham kept. Statutes. Come on. Come on. Judgments, Deut, watches, chukim,
Mishpatim, mitzvot.
mishpatim, mitzvot. Okay. In Hebrew it says this, Ekev asher shama, the heel, that, asher, that, listened Avraham. The heel that Abraham heard. The heel that Abraham heard. In my voice, bekoli, in my voice, vayishmor, and he kept mishmarti, my cycles, my standing cycles, mitzvotai, my mitzvot, chukotai, my statutes, vatorotai, and my Torahs, plural. Yeah? Okay, go ahead. I was waiting for there had to be a question.
Wouldn't it be simpler to just say, and he walked in my footsteps?
He didn't walk in his footsteps. He heard his footsteps. He heard it. Bakoli. Ekev asher shama. That he heard.
But he couldn't have heard them if he wasn't walking. So wouldn't it be simply...
What did he hear?
He heard his footsteps.
Wrong. He heard what he did. What did he do?
The mishpatim.
Yeah, right. The words are here. The words are here. The chukat, the mishmarti, the mitzvot, the torotai.
Yeah.
The torot.
He kept all of that.
He heard those. He did them, and then what happened? He heard it. He heard it. And that's the whole point. Now, yeah, you could say it easier in English, but you can't say it easier in Hebrew. You keep saying, that's the hard part. It's really tough to switch your thinking from English to Hebrew, because it is very confusing.
It puts the end of the sentence at the beginning.
Yeah, and you guys all tell me I need to learn Spanish. No thanks. I have to put the noun after the adjective or whatever. No thank you. It's the same thing. Hebrew works the same way. It's flipped. Every time.
Well, because you have the ending at the beginning and the subject at the end.
That's correct. That is exactly right. All right. Now, his kuni. We're going to back up to the 13th century. He says, Ekev asher shema Avraham bekoli. Ekev, heel, that heard Abraham in my voice. As a consequence, or on the heel, or heel of Avraham having listened to my voice, Now, it makes it sound normal, like as a consequence of him hearing my voice. No, 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 no. A reference to the binding of Isaac. Now, what? Where does that come from? Because God told him to bind his son Isaac? No. I'll show you why he says it. The same wording occurs after the Akedah in Genesis 22:18. Ekev asher shemat b'koli. Because, or as a consequence, or the heel, you listened to my voice. So if you just keep it at the level of because, you're missing the whole thing. Do not translate it as because you miss the whole point. Or, another way to say it, heel that you listen to in my voice. Heel that you listen to, Abraham, in my voice. B'koli. Ekev asher shema Abraham. The heel that listened to Abraham, that Abraham listened to, in my voice. And he did the mishmar, the mitzvot, the chukat, the torot. And now, that's on top of the fact that this is 430 years before the Torah was given. So how the heck did Abraham do the Torah? How did that Gentile do Judaism? What do you think?
He had to do and then hear carefully.
Yeah, but how did he know what to do?
Here.
He heard God's footsteps.
Well, I'm going to walk you through what the sages say about how he knew what to do. The heel, Abraham listened to my voice and kept my mishmarim, my mitzvot, my chukim, my torot. Mishnah Kiddushim, way back to the 2nd century, 4:14. And it likewise states with regard to Abraham our father. And Abraham was old, well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. We find that Abraham our forefather fulfilled the entire Torah before it was given, as it is stated, because Abraham listened to my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Now I know you can understand that because it has put it in the English format. But I want you to be able to understand it in the Bible format, the Hebrew format. Because Abraham, in listening to the heel, my voice, and they kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, my laws, which indicates that Abraham observed all the mitzvot of his own accord and was rewarded in his old age as a result, or rewarded when? In his end. All right? How do you say reward? Ekev. How do you say end? Ekev. Head, beginning, heel, end. Jerusalem Talmud, Kiddushim. This is from the 3rd or 4th century. So you find about the patriarch Abraham, who kept the Torah before it came into the world, as it is said, as a reward, because Abraham listened to my voice and kept my watch, my mitzvot, my torot, my teachings. Now that's strange. It puts laws as a chukotai. My mitzvot, my chukotai, my chukot, my teachings, Torot. Also, it made him great, and it made him great. What did?
Keeping the Torah.
Yes, but what's it called? What he kept? The heel. It. What made him great? Ekev. That he heard the Ekev. It made him great and blessed him in his youth and gave him a future and hope in his old age. What does it say about his youth? Abraham was very wealthy with livestock, silver and gold. And about his old age, what does it say? Abraham was old, came into days, and the Eternal blessed Abraham with everything. everything. Everything in the universe. Yes.
It kind of puts a whole new perspective on Isaac and the twins, because he was a heel catcher. He was an Ekev.
Jacob and Esau.
Isaac's kids.
Oh, okay. Isaac's kids, yes.
Isaac's kids. That Jacob is a heel catcher. He's going after the heel. Even in the womb, he's seeking after the heel.
Yes, that is the end of the story. Is that why is Jacob called Jacob? He grabbed the heel. Go after the heel. That's the whole point. That's why he's called heel. Because he is Judaism incarnate. All the small stuff that nobody cares about, that the whole world grinds under its heel. That's Judaism. That's the Jews. That's Jacob. And what's the opposite? Esau. Okay.
He's grabbing the heel of Edom.
Yes, he's grabbing the heel. Yes, that's another picture. Okay. Okay, all right. Now, Talmud Yoma, I could riff on that for 25 minutes. Talmud Yoma 28b, 9 and 10. This is also from the 4th century. Rav said, Abraham, our patriarch, fulfilled the entire Torah before it was given, as it is stated, Ekev, on the heel. Abraham listened to my voice and kept my charge, my mitzvot, my statutes, my Torahs. Rav Shimi Bar Chia said to Rav, now they start arguing. Shimi starts arguing with him, and he says, well, maybe the verse means that he fulfilled only the 7 Noachide mitzvot, and not the entire Torah. And the Gemara asks, but isn't there also circumcision that Abraham clearly observed? That's not one of the Noachide laws. Apparently, Abraham fulfilled more than just those 7. Say that he so then the guy answers again, okay, then say that he fulfilled only the 7 mitzvot and circumcision then. And Rav said, if so, why do I need the rest of the verse that says that Abraham kept my mitzvot and my Torahs? Why do I need that?
Because
No, he's saying you're wrong. Why do I need that if he only did the 7 Noachide laws and then circumcision? Makes no sense, because he continues the verse. And he says he did all of these words that are synonyms for Judaism. That is, it's a clear indication. It is a clear indication that he fulfilled mitzvot beyond the 7 Noachide mitzvot, apparently fulfilling the entire Torah. Abraham fulfilled the entire Torah, even a rabbinical ordinance. And this is where the church loses its mind, and Messianic Jews lose their minds, as if rabbinic ordinance was not given by God. A rabbinic ordinance instituted later, as it is stated, my Torot, plural. Since it is plural, it indicates that Abraham kept 2 Torahs. One, the written Torah, and the other, what they call the oral Torah, which is the how to do it, the definition, descriptions of how to do it. Since it's plural, it indicates that he kept both Torahs. In the course of fulfilling the oral Torah, he fulfilled all the details and parameters included in that, in the written Torah. How do we know that? Because it says he kept the Torah. And if it says he kept the red heifer, the chukat of the red heifer, and he did something not right, did he then keep it? No, he didn't keep it. So that means he kept it right, which means all the ways to do it, all the parameters of what, the strictures and the freedoms of it, all the limitations and strictures and how to and how not to, all of it. And he did it right. Okay, so far we have just the clues that tell us he did it. Haven't gotten anywhere near how did he do it. Right? Yes or no?
yes,
Okay. Talmud Sota. And he shall divide the spoil with the mighty, meaning that just like Abraham, Isaac and Jacob were mighty in doing Torah and mitzvot. Well, how did they know how to do Torah and mitzvot? Abraham taught them. Bereshit Rabbah. It's from the third, that should say,
Is this third to fourth?
no, Bereshit Rabbah, from the 3rd to 4th century. This is early. Everywhere Jacob would settle, he would study Torah, just as his fathers would. At this point, the Torah had not been given, but it is written of Abraham, because Abraham listened to my voice. He kept my charge, my mitzvot, my chukim, my Torot. From where did Abraham learn the Torah? Rabbi Shimon says his 2 kidneys became like 2 jugs of water, and they would gush Torah. As it is stated, even on nights my kidneys instruct me. That's in Psalm 16. What is he saying? Everybody who believes in me, out of his belly will come gushing rivers of living water. The Holy Spirit. That's the Holy Spirit. So there should be somewhere in the sages where it say, hey, Holy Spirit taught him. Whose words did I just quote? Anybody who believes in me, out of his belly will... Who said that? Yeshua on Sukkot, on the 8th day, the 7th day of Sukkot. So it's got to say that the Holy Spirit taught him. Midrash Tanhuma from the 8th to 9th century in Vayigash. So Joseph gave them wagons. Ooh! Isn't that amazing? You're supposed to know what that means. Joseph gave them wagons. Joseph gave them wagons. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. This verse teaches you. That statement right there is enough to show me that Christianity is wrong and the Jews are right. Because Christianity has no ability, Hellenistic teachers have no ability to look at a verse like that, and Joseph gave them wagons, and expound from 50 other verses in the Bible to show us some amazing thing about God and about the Holy Spirit. But the Jews can, the sages can. And he says, this verse teaches you that in every place that Joseph went, he was busy at Torah, just as his fathers had been, even though the Torah had not yet been given. Thus it is written of Abraham, and he kept my charge, my mitzvot, etc. From where did Abraham learn the Torah? Where Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai says his 2 kidneys became like 2 full vessels of water gushing Torah. All right, so we still don't have a clear answer, do we? Well, yeah, we can assume, but none of the sages have said it's Holy Spirit. Yes.
I just keep thinking about how we always taught, in my flesh I see God. Every part of our body is teaching us constantly about some attribute, that God wants us to look at. And the kidneys are like, the apostles, and that, are cleansing.
Let's not go too deep, please. That's another rabbit trail, another rabbi trail I'll have to spend time on. But you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Every part of our body teaches us pictures. Okay, so we got a real clear picture, but we don't have a straight up statement saying the Holy Spirit taught him. Do we? Okay. Ramban, Nachmanides, 12th to 13th century. My charge, equals, the watch equals 2nd degree prohibitions of marriage between relatives. It's also the cycle of the festivals, the new moon and the Sabbath. 2nd degree prohibitions of marriage between relatives? That's a mishmar? Where does he get that from? Guess where he gets it? In the Torah, where it says this is a mishmar. And my mitzvot, robbery and murder. Where does he get that from? It's in the Torah. My mishpatim, my judgments, prohibitions of eating a limb from a living animal, also in the Torah, and interbreeding animals and grafting trees. That's in the Torah. Calls them mishpatim. And my Torot, civil laws and the prohibitions of idolatry. And he kept and he did the will of his Creator and kept even the precise inferences and the stringencies of the mitzvot. And what appears to me from the opinion of our rabbis is that Abraham learned the entire Torah from Ruach HaKodesh. He comes right out and says it. And was occupied in it and in the reasons for it being given. Does a chok have a reason? Do chukim have a reason?
No.
Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. They just don't know what it is. Like the red heifer. They say, we do it because God said it. We don't know why. But a lot of people do know why. And a lot of them are sages, and a lot of them are Messianic Jews, and a lot of them are Christians, and a lot of them are other people. We do know why it was given. And that's a chok. Yeah? What appears to me, look at that sentence again. What appears to me from the opinion of our rabbis, which is the sages, he's referring back to the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Midrashim. And he takes all of them together and he says, look, guys, all of them say the same thing. That Abraham learned the entire Torah from Ruach HaKodesh. So therefore, what is the job of the Holy Spirit? Teach what? Torah. And only Torah. Nothing else. Nothing else on this planet. And was occupied in it and in the reasons for it being given and its secrets, the pictures. And he kept all of it as one who is not commanded and does. So then why does he do it? Why does he do it if he's not commanded to do it?
Desire to know God.
Exactly. He wants to know God. That's all. Look at me. You guys are wearing yourself out because you're trying to figure things out instead of just listening to what's being said, putting the pieces together and go, oh, that's cool. It's so simple. That's why I ask questions. If you follow what I'm saying and you put the pieces together, like I'm helping you to do, it's liberating. It's so easy. So, Abraham did the mitzvot, all of them. How did he learn what to do? Holy Spirit taught him. Why did he do the mitzvot? Because he wanted to know God. He wants the knowledge of God. And as he did them, what happened to him? It spoke to him. It talked to him. Yeah. It talked to him. And all of that is Ekev, the heel. The head is the beginning, the heel is the end. And so in the end, Abraham will receive his reward for having done what? The Torah. Whatever he did, which is apparently all of it. All of it. And he was a Gentile. And I love that last phrase. He kept all of it as one who is not commanded. Obedience or understanding. People think they can obey a command and somehow get to know God. That's insanity. That is literal insanity. Because they do it over and over and over and over and over and over. They never get to know God. That's insanity. But if you do it as if you're not commanded to do it, just because you want to know God, and it talks to you, what's going to happen? You're going to get to know God. That's all. So, Abraham did all the mitzvot, both heavy and light, both great and small. Now, in the beginning, Doug brought up a very, very good question. What he said was, don't the rabbis separate out like light and heavy commandments, great and small commandments? Don't they? Well, we're supposed to say there isn't a great and a small. They're all the same. We get the reward for all of it. But the truth is there are heavy and light. And I brought up some examples. Is the punishment for murder the same as the punishment for kidnapping a 4-year-old?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
I'm talking about in Judaism, not in American law.
No.
Is murder, the punishment for murder, the same as the punishment for kidnapping? Yes. Those are equatable. Isn't that weird?
Death of innocence.
Isn't that strange?
No, you basically killed that.
Well, okay, you're trying to figure it out, but it's just on the surface level, it's weird. I mean, that's why American law doesn't make it like that, because American law doesn't see it as equal. Judaism does. All right, is the judgment for kidnapping the same as judgment for stealing $250,000 from your neighbor?
No.
No, it's different. Oh, there's a different scale. So there is a greater and a lesser. Yes? Is the mitzvah, do not murder, as heavy as don't shoo away a mother bird from the nest if you want to take the eggs? Are those equal, or is one greater and one lesser? You got to shoo away a mother bird if you want to take the eggs and eat them. And murder. They're nowhere near equal. I mean, one is like you die. If you don't shoo away a mother bird, nobody's going to kill you. You don't go to a bait den, they go, death, for not shooing away the mother bird. That's crazy. So yes, of course they're unequal. There's one big and one small. Now the reason why I brought that up is because the lightest, what's called the lightest, or what's called the smallest of the mitzvot, is that very mitzvah.
Mother bird.
Shiluach haken, which means sending away from the nest. Sending from the nest. All right? That is called the smallest of the mitzvot. So if there's a smallest, there's a biggest. Abraham did all the mitzvot, both heavy and light, both great and small. Listen to the heel. That's what we've got. That's where we're at right now. Rashi says, and the consequence will be, if you listen, the Hebrew text may be taken to signify if you will hear the heel. How do you hear the heel? By doing it and then listening to what you do. That's it. Ramban, the commentators have said that the meaning of the word Ekev is that in the end there will be rewards. Similarly, in keeping them, there is Ekev Rav. Big heel, big end, big reward. Great reward. Psalm 19. Matthew 5. Therefore, whoever does away with one of the... What does that tell us? There are small mitzvot, right? One of the least of these mitzvot. In other words, there's a lot of least mitzvot. There's a lot of small ones. And teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches them, teaches what?
The least of these.
That's the Ekev. It's the end. It's the smallest. The one that people grind under their heel. That's the least of the mitzvot. Get what I'm saying? This is what he's talking about. Why doesn't he say the one who does away with the least and the greatest of the mitzvot? Because it's only the heel that counts. If you take care of the small one, pretty pretty sure you're going to take care of the big one. I mean, if you get that detailed in Picayune and OCD about the mitzvot, you're probably going to deal with the bigger ones pretty well. Matthew 23:23. Wait, I didn't finish the verse. He'll be called least in the kingdom of heaven, but whoever does and teaches them, teaches and does what?
The heel.
The least, the heel, the Ekev, will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. There will be Ekev, Rav, great reward. That's what he's quoting. Ekev Rav, great reward, great in the end, great in the kingdom. Matthew 23, woe to you scribes and Pharisees, brother Pharisees. Yeshua was a Pharisee. Hypocrites, because you tithe mint and dill and cumin, which you don't really have to do, but you can if you want. But you neglected the weightier matters of the Torah. So what does that mean? There's lighter matters of the Torah, and there's heavier matters of the Torah. Light and heavier, greater and least. Justice and mercy and faithfulness. That you should have done that without neglecting the others. Keep tithing, but make sure you're living like your tithe. Like you're giving it to God, you're giving yourself to God. Mishnah Avot 2:1. So here's the meaning of the teaching. Be as scrupulous. What does scrupulous mean? Detailed. What else? I just said a few words for it. Synonyms. Picayune, meticulous, OCD. These are all synonyms for scrupulous. About a light mitzvah. What is he saying? Be scrupulous about what? Which is what? Which is the heel, the Ekev. Be as scrupulous about the Ekev as a weighty one, for you don't know the reward allotted for each one. You don't know the reward. Do we see the reward for keeping kosher? No. Why? Because it's a hulk. It's a small. It's a heel. Do we see the reward for a judgment? If you murder, what happens? Your life is taken. Yes, we see it, but we don't see the reward for keeping the mitzvot. We see the punishment for breaking a mitzvah, but what reward are you going to get for shooing away a mother bird when you want to take the eggs?
This is mine.
Breakfast.
We don't know. We don't know what reward we're going to get in the kingdom.
Egg salad sandwich.
What reward are we going to get for honoring your father and your mother? Okay, that one we can see because it says it. That's good. What reward are we going to get for the secondary prohibitions of sexual conduct with family members? We don't know. Don't even try, please. We don't know. But for not breaking that, for doing the right thing, we don't know. And this is the whole game, reward and punishment. We don't know. We don't know how much we're going to be rewarded in the kingdom. Shaul said this, and nobody ever thinks about it. Eye has not seen, not heard, those things that the Lord has prepared for those who love Him. Why has eye not seen or ear not heard? Because we don't know. We don't know the reward that we're going to get.
We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it. We haven't heard it. We don't know. Well, that's what Mishnah Avot says. He got that from Judaism. He was a Jew. He was a rabbi teaching Judaism. Be scrupulous about the Ekev as you are about the weighty matters of Torah. Keeping Shabbat. That's a weighty matter of Torah. Right? Well, be just as scrupulous about the light ones. The ones that you don't care about. For you do not know the reward allotted for each mitzvah. Kli Yakar in the 16th century. Therefore, even though people tread on the chukim with their heels, nevertheless, you should be careful with them, just as with the mishpatim, which are heavy. Those are the heavy ones. Because we're shown the judgment for them. Right? That's heavy. You know what's going to happen if you break it. That's heavy. But not so with the statutes. The chukim, the heel. We're not told. We don't understand it. Although we understand why he gave it, if we delve into it, and we see the picture. And these two categories of mitzvot should be absolutely equal in the eyes of everyone. But the truth is, they're not equal. There's heavy and there's light. But we should look at them like they're the same. That means, if you're in a group, and one of the members of the group does something wrong, says something wrong, and you know it's wrong, what does Torah say you're supposed to do?
Correct me.
Well, not correct. What's the word? Rebuke. Tochacha. Correct is musar. Tochacha. Rebuke that person. Because if you don't love them. Yes? So, same group, same sin, same lack of tochacha. The person, somebody's supposed to rebuke, and nobody rebukes. And everybody goes, oh, just love them. They're okay. They're good people. You know, that's how they are. And they start making excuses. Now what is going to happen? God's going to judge the whole group. Right? But if you look at that, just hear my heart, don't worry about my words. If you hear that idiot say that stupid thing, and then a bunch of idiots stand around and don't rebuke that idiot, and it makes you mad, and you're like, now wait a minute, and you make that tiny little thing, that little Ekev, and you make it heavy, and you make them equal, and you go, listen, this person needs to be rebuked. All of a sudden, you have the kingdom. The high is made low, and the low is made high, and everybody's equal, and the Torah is equal in every respect, and you get to see a reward. And the person repents, and everybody's cool. And you get to taste a little bit of the kingdom. That's how it's supposed to work. I really hope you're hearing me. Because this is how Judaism works. Hold on. Make the thing that you think is no big deal, make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Major on the minors. And it's going to make people mad, and it's going to irritate everybody. But this is how you're supposed to live. I do it all the time at work, and it drives people crazy, and I don't care. Because I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm seeing. And I'm going to bring a rebuke. I just got to make sure I do it right. And like I told you, I'm really trying. I'm really, really trying. And I've done it right a couple of times. Major on the minors. There's a story in the Talmud that says there's two guys. And one of them has done a very, very small sin. And he's like, oh well. He goes to his rabbi, and his rabbi says, look, that's just how you are. It's no big deal. Just go on. Just, do a little better. Just try to do better. And the guy walks away feeling pretty justified. It's just how I am. Same guy, same sin, but now he's in a different community, different rabbi. And the rabbi rails on him and says, how can you do that? You have destroyed and killed that fellow neighbor of yours. What? I didn't do that bad. My rabbi told me, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're looking at that sin like a spider web. I'm looking at it like a cart rope. And so this became a saying in Israel. Look at your sin as a cart rope and not as a spider web. Major on the minors. And by the way, that story that a comparison of sin to a spider web and a cart rope comes up 15 times in the Talmud because it's such a big thing. It's such a major story.
What's a cart rope?
It's a rope heavy enough to pull a cart, like where the animals pull that cart, just with ropes. I mean, think about the strength of that rope. But a spider web? Yes.
The way the very first verse that we read, pertaining to Ekev, it says, do not pity,
The idolaters.
Huh?
The idolaters. Do not pity the idolaters.
And the rabbis go on to say, when you do that, you're basically taking on that sin because you didn't deal with it from the beginning. And because you didn't deal with it, now you have just adopted that into your life.
Yes, and you become that.
And you
become that idol. Okay. We got the idea of heavier and lighter, making them equal. It is very difficult to do. Kli Yakar, 16th century, says, therefore, even though people tread on the chukim with their heels, nevertheless, you should be careful with them, just like you are with the judgments. And these two categories should be absolutely equal in every respect. Proof of this, now he's going to give us proof, is found in Yalkut 446. Yalkut is Midrash, the stories, the very early stories. Yalkut is a collection of all the early stories. It's later. It's from the 12th to 13th century, but it brings in all the early stories. And it shall be, if you listen, this is as it is said in Psalm 49:6. Why should I fear in days of evil when the iniquity of my heel? Isn't that weird? The iniquity of my heels surrounds me. What are my heels? The little mitzvot. The little sins. The little sins. When the iniquity, akavai, my heels surrounds me. Now, I've read Christian commentaries, you know what they say? When I walked to go do evil. When I walked to Bathsheba. When I walked away from Avshalom, my son, and he rose up. And in other words, they don't know what the Ekev is. They don't know that it's mitzvot. I'm not afraid of the severe sins because they're severe, but I am afraid of the little ones. I'm afraid of the Ekev, the akavai, my heels. I'm afraid of the little ones, lest I transgress them. You told me, be careful with a minor mitzvah as with a severe one. You hear what I'm saying? Be careful with a minor mitzvah as with a severe one. And it says, and it shall be, if you listen, Ekev. Then he brings in our verse. If you listen, Ekev. David said there before the Holy One, your servant is careful with them. In keeping them, there is Ekev Rav. In the future, great reward. Because I took care of my Ekev. I took care of my heels, the little ones. I keep having a thought, and I'm having an internal argument whether I should bring it up or not. Exodus 20, honor your father and mother that your days may be long. Shiluach haken, called the least of the mitzvot. Come across a bird's nest in a tree or on the ground with young ones or eggs, the mother sitting on the young or the eggs. Do not take the mother with the young, send the mother away. But the young you may take, that it may go well with you. And you're telling me that the reward for the least of the mitzvot is the same as honoring your father and mother. One of the heaviest mitzvot there is. Isn't that a trip? Do you understand the significance of that? Make them completely equal. That God is going to judge us for the little sins and breaking what we think are minor mitzvot, the same or in some way that's similar. We don't know how, but in some way that's similar to a major mitzvah. At least we can see it here. Yes?
Yeah.
What do you think of that? This is called the least of the mitzvot in Judaism.
Yeah.
And do this so you may live a long life? That is bizarre. Not so you can have breakfast. So you can live a lot and have a lot of breakfasts. Isn't that bizarre? That doesn't freak you out? That freaks me out. That the reward for honoring my father and mother is the same as doing shiluach haken, the least of the mitzvot, which Yeshua was referring to here. The least of the mitzvot, that's shiluach haken. But there's more than one, there's several. And we don't know what the judgment is going to be in the kingdom. We don't know what God's slide rule is. His, what do they call it? Logarithm. We don't know what God's logarithm is. Yes? I'm using the right word, yeah? Like logarithm on YouTube, when you watch a few things and so it pours in a whole bunch of the same stuff. Algorithm, thank you. We don't know what God's algorithm is for the judgments. We just don't know for all the mitzvot. Better walk a straight line. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to scare you.
Give us understanding.
And we're supposed to walk in fear. We're supposed to. So, Midrash Tanhuma. Ki tetzeh. Of all the mitzvot, none is as easy. None of them are as easy as leaving a nest alone. Just walk away from it. How easy is that? You're hungry. Yes, but if you just walk away, what have you done? You've kept the mitzvah. All you got to do, like God says, you want that egg or the baby bird, right? All you got to do is shoo the mother. I got a better idea. Just walk away from it. There's nothing easier in this world than to walk away from something you want. Just a small thing you want. Yeah? Okay? And it says, in order that it may be well with you and you may lengthen your life. It's a parable. To what is this comparable? To a king who brought laborers into the field to plant it, but he didn't reveal to them the reward for their planting. At evening, he gave 1 gold coin to whoever planted a tree. And they all began to be amazed and say, that guy got a gold coin for planting that tree. What are we going to do? Plant a whole bunch, and we'll get a bunch of coins. So, if the reward for leaving a nest alone has a lengthening of life as its reward, how much more will be the reward for a mitzvah in which there's a material loss? What did you lose by walking away from the nest? You lost your breakfast. Big deal. You didn't get to get an egg.
No, but what have you been starving?
It didn't say that. You didn't say that. This is not about pikuach hanefesh, about saving a life. This is about just keeping a mitzvah. So, put that aside. What did you lose? You lost nothing. You're still hungry. Still hungry. Big deal. But if you keep a mitzvah that costs you money, costs you time, costs you effort, costs you energy, costs you friends, costs you influence, that's going to be a great reward. For this reason, the Holy One did not explain the reward for the mitzvot which are in the Torah, so that Israel of its own accord, just like Abraham. Just like Abraham. Nobody told Abraham, commanded him to do the mitzvot, did they?
No.
Why did he do it? He wanted to know God. He wanted to know God. so that the reward for the mitzvah, he didn't tell us that are in the Torah, so that Israel of its own accord would fulfill the mitzvot and thereby increase the reward. Remember what the verse said? If I keep the Ekev, what happens? There will be Ekev Rav. Great reward in the kingdom. Ekev Rav. Increase the reward. Thus we have learned in Avot 1:3, don't be like servants who serve the master for the sake of receiving a reward. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because you don't know the reward you're going to get. Do you? No. Now Yeshua told a whole parable about this. I'm assuming you know it. About the landowner who sent guys out into the field. You know it?
Yeah. You paid the same for the guy who started early as the one.
Exactly. He paid the same for the dude who started 6 o'clock in the morning as he paid the guy who worked for 1 hour. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers in the vineyard. In the vineyard, what is he talking about? Israel. Somebody who labors among the Jewish people. He agreed with the laborers for a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard, the Jews. He went out about the third hour, 6, 7, 8. Now it's 8. 6 is the first hour, 7, 8. So 8 to 9. He went out about 8 to 9, saw others standing idle, and said to them, go out in the vineyard too, and whatever is right, I'll pay you. Then he goes out again at the 6th hour, at noon, and then the 9th hour, 3 o'clock, and did the same thing. And about the 11th hour, now it's 5 o'clock, 1 hour till the sun goes down. About the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing and said, why are you standing here all day long? And what did they answer? Well, nobody hired us.
Right.
It's a good answer. So he says, okay, you go out in the vineyard too. When evening came, 1 hour later, the owner called the laborers to pay them their wages, starting with the last group first. When those hired at the 11th hour came, each received a denarius, a gold coin. When those hired first came, they thought, well, we're going to get a lot more than that. But each of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they grumbled at the landlord, saying, these guys worked 1 hour. We've been here all day long in the burning heat.
12 hours.
12 hours we worked. And you made them equal to us. There's no greater, there's no lesser. Make them equal. The pay should be the same. You've made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the day's work and the scorching heat. But he answered and said, friend, I'm not doing any wrong to you. Didn't we agree for a denarius for the day? Yeah. Okay, take what's yours and go. If I want to give that last guy what same as I gave to you just because I'm nice, isn't it lawful for me to do with what I want, with what I own? Or is your I bad? Every day we pray against Lashon Hara and Ayin Hara. Bad eye, envious, envy, greed. Because I'm generous, I'm a nice guy. So what's the problem? The problem here is you're a greedy person. So we don't know the reward. So next time you're with a group and you want to run interference and make justifications for a sin that has occurred, no matter what it is, don't do it. Just don't do it. Think Torah. And get your heart right and make things equal. The same with a small sin as with a big sin. They're not spider webs. What are they? Cart ropes. Big, heavy ropes. Not spider webs. Luke 16, the one who is faithful in a very little thing, what's he talking about? The Ekev. Is also faithful in the Rosh. Faithful in the Ekev, you're going to be faithful in the beginning, the head, the Rosh, the big. And the one who is unrighteous in a very little thing is also unrighteous in the big ones. You may not like that, but that's the truth. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the use of unrighteous money, what does that mean?
Money gained from stealing?
No, it's the use of money.
It's being
If you-
given to the wrong things.
Maybe been given to the wrong things. Yeah, what else?
Maybe being dishonest in your business dealings.
Maybe being dishonest in your business dealings. Yeah, what else? Invested incorrectly. What does that mean?
Hoarding your money?
Hoarding your money. What does that mean more? Investing it in the wrong things.
Little things of the world.
Right. Spending it on what you want, your pleasures. Your pleasures, right? Like Edom.
Is that what you said?
Like Edom. Like Edom.
Yeah.
Right? If you have not been faithful in the use of unrighteous money, who will entrust the true wealth to you? When are we going to get our true wealth? In the Ekev, in the end. The true wealth, yeah, which is Torah, which is all the things of God. And if you haven't been faithful in the use of that which is another's, the Ekev, the small things, who's going to give you that which is your own, that you're supposed to get in the kingdom? So this is what I see. This is what I see. I see selfishness and I see laziness in this group. I see a lot of laziness. If services start at 10:30, they start at 10:30. They do not start at 10:35. If you can't get ready on time, that's because you are wasting the most precious thing in your life, time. You're wasting it. If you're not studying because you're lazy, guess what you're doing? You're wasting your time, the most precious thing you have in your life. It is the most precious thing you have, time.
Because you only get so much.
That's right. It is allotted and then it's gone. And if you waste it like Esav did on the things of this world, you are going to lose in the kingdom. I'm telling you as a tochacha. Why? Because we're still in Deuteronomy, guys. We're in the third Torah portion of Deuteronomy. And what is all of Deuteronomy? A tochacha. It's a rebuke. This message about the Ekev is a rebuke.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for receiving it. I appreciate that. Hold on. So, things have got to change. Things have got to change. If you change your habits and your behaviors, and you take care of the little things that are Jewish things, whatever they are, the little Jew things, God will add to you bigger Jewish things. But it ain't going to happen if you're not faithful to the little things. And I got news for you. As a Jew, I mean, I've kept my mouth shut for a long time, but I'm grossed out. I'm grossed out by the way of the Gentiles, and you've dragged the way of the Gentiles into this group. Laziness, selfishness. Think of it like a cart rope, not like a spider web. It's thick and strong enough to pull an entire cart full of stuff, half a ton. But you're looking at it, no, it's really not that big a deal. Yes, it is. It is a big, big deal. And God wants you to grow. And God wants you to mature. And God wants you to have a joyful life as you're doing Judaism. But what you're doing is you're bringing it down, you're making it tight and tough. And it's right back to this. There's either obedience or there's understanding. Understanding will make you happy. Obedience is going to make you tight and sad. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have any questions or comments or complaints about this? Okay. That means I'm going to expect to see change. And if you want me to be specific about what you need to change, come to me as a rabbi and I'll talk to you as a rabbi. But none of you have. Well, actually, Anthony has a couple times. But other than that, nobody's come to me as a rabbi to ask me rabbi questions about their life and about what they're doing wrong. I can help you with that if you want. Yes?
Got a couple of things. You said you were talking about Ekev, and I started thinking, what is the gematria of Ekev? So
400?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know.
It's 172.
I was so close.
Ayin 70, Kuf 100, and the Beit 2.
Okay.
So
172.
Is 172. Well, that alludes to the exact number of the traditional, what are called the traditional 10 commandments in Parashat Yitro, okay? And it connects the Yitro, the Parsha of Yitro, and the Parsha about Abraham listening to God's voice for 172 years, because it doesn't count the first 3 years when he was too little. So they say it's 172 years that he listened. That
Wait, that means he started listening at the age of 3. Do you know why it says that?
Possible.
That's why Jews start their Jewish education at the age of 3.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is, well, we learned that the Ekev is we need to do the Ekev, which is the Torah, basically the I get excited, sorry. That we have to do the Ekev, even the small things, okay? You use those same letters that are in Ekev, and you spell the word Bekah, okay? And Bekah
Is the half shekel.
But it is also basically the opposite of what it spells the word Bekah, and yes, it is a half shekel, but it also means broken. So you can either do the Ekev and have a relationship with God, and Ekev is constantly moving and constantly growing, or you can be broken with Bekah and not do the things that God is requiring of you, and therefore you have broken your step and you're not walking with God and growing.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to bring up the issue that I was wrestling in my mind with. You thought that the tochacha was? No. We don't separate milk and meat. And in normative Judaism, like if you ask, well, not only do they, but if you say, you're Jewish? Yeah. You keep kosher? Yeah. I separate milk and meat. That's the very first thing out of their mouth. That is the litmus test for who keeps Judaism. We don't separate milk and meat. Now, it's not for lack of research. I have researched for not hours, days to figure out about this issue. There's not a single edict, I'll call it, in the Mishnah that says separate milk and meat. There are 3, but none of them are edicts. They just assume you're doing it, and they say, this is why this one, this is why this one, and this is why this one. But they never say we should separate milk and meat. Okay? This is a big deal. I've been a believer 48 years, and I've never separated milk and meat. And the reason is that early on I saw that meat in Hebrew, what is meat in Hebrew?
Basar.
Basora or basar. Basar. It means living flesh. It is the same exact word for gospel. The Besorah,
Good news.
or the Bisser, is the good news. It's the gospel.
Right.
All the sacrifices are meat, and they're a picture of Yeshua. What is milk in the Bible?
Halav.
Halav, yes. What is it a picture of? Say what you said?
Oh, Torah.
Torah. How do you know it's a picture of Torah?
The land flowing with milk and honey.
Nope.
The 2 mountains.
Yes, it's in Isaiah 66, last chapter of Isaiah. It says that out of the breasts of Jerusalem flow the milk to the Jews, and it gives us life. And we know that that milk that's flowing out of Jerusalem, the 2 mountains, the Mount of Olive and Mount Tzion, are Judaism. So, and all the rabbis say that, well, easier than that. When the sages buy the ink,
It's in milk bottles.
it's in milk bottles, baby bottles.
Yeah.
In baby bottles.
Drink milk from.
Yeah, and they do it on purpose. The
Right.
ink to write the Torah is sold to the scribes in baby bottles.
That's a picture.
Because it's the milk for the babies is Torah. Okay? So, the Besorah is milk. Sorry, the Besorah is meat. The gospel, Yeshua, is meat. And the Torah is milk. They should be completely separated?
I don't think so.
That's why I don't separate them. But I've got a problem. Because I've searched and I've searched and I've searched and I've searched, and I can't not find. In fact, I found the opposite, that Abraham served milk and meat to God.
He did. When he had the visit.
And David served milk and meat to his men.
David did too?
Yes. So I got a problem. I can't find a mitzvah that says, do this, and here's why. Which I can for everything else in Judaism. But not for milk and meat. Not mixing milk and meat.
Is it kosher meat?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
of course. So, but do you see what I'm saying? Is this a chok? And I've missed it for 48 years? Is this a chok that I've not kept for 48 years?
Yeah, right. I can see why.
And taught others?
Want you, yeah.
If I were you, I would mix milk and meat. And here's
Some
why.
even eat cheese with chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or fish.
Or fish. Yeah.
Can't milk a fish.
Yeah.
But let's not get lost in the weeds here.
Right.
Is it a chok or is it not a chok? I don't have an answer. And I've been a believer 48 years. After 48 years, I don't have an answer. But I do have an answer for what it all means and why it should be mixed. So I'm going to leave it up to you. But you better do your research. Because if you're mixing milk and meat and it's a chok, and you can prove to me that it's a chok and it's a wrong picture, I'll stop tomorrow. Not today, because it'll take you some time to show me. But you see what I'm saying? I haven't been able to do it. I have failed in finding it. But if you're mixing milk and meat, you better be able to say why. I can say why. For hours, I can say why.
I'm glad I'm a vegetarian.
That's no excuse. You can't walk away from it and say, it doesn't apply to me. It does apply to you. It's Judaism.
Yeah, but I thought not eating meat is
That's your problem. The scriptures don't say to not eat milk and meat. Scriptures don't say to not eat meat. It says to eat meat. And we've talked about that, but you don't want to hear it, so that's your...
Don't boil goat and its mother's milk.
No, that's a different issue. She's talking about being vegetarian.
Okay.
Being vegetarian is not a good excuse to walk away from the mitzvah, because there are many, many, many mitzvot to do with meat. Mitzvot in Judaism to do with meat. Well, that's not the point. The point is Judaism. And walking away from it because you're a vegetarian, all that is saying, it's It's not my problem. It's not my business.
That's not how, that's not why I'm a vegetarian.
That is what you're saying.
It would be just.
No, wait, hold on. She's not hearing me
I
yet.
know, that's why I'm going to say this. It would be the same as a man saying, well, I don't need to learn about that because that only pertains to women. But everything is a picture for us to learn from pertaining to the kingdom or pertaining to something that the Lord wants to show us about, the kingdom. So everybody needs to learn all of the things so that you have an understanding of how the things work in the kingdom.
Okay, that's a nice explanation, but it doesn't get to what I'm saying, which is your motive or your thought process about it.
Yeah, I don't have understanding. I mean,
Okay, I get that. I really do. The problem is that you've like in doing a certain lifestyle, you're not connecting it to Judaism. If you can find a way to integrate vegetarianism, however you say that, with Judaism, I'm with you. But to keep it separate when there's a bunch of mitzvot to do with meat, it's a problem. Because they're not integrating, they're not talking to each other. See what I'm saying? So it's too easy to just walk away and say, it's not my deal. Which we all do with something. It's not my deal. Like she's saying, I'm a man, I don't have to worry about that women stuff.
I'm single, I don't need to study about a husband and wife.
Exactly. And that's basically what you're doing with this issue. So you got to find some way to integrate it. So that means study.
I didn't realize I was having a bad attitude.
Well, that's,
I've been a bit.
listen, that's the attitude.
Okay.
The attitude is you're not
I didn't understand that.
That's okay. You're not integrating it. Now, why you're doing it is whatever your deal is. I don't know and I don't really care. What I care about is that you find some way to figure out what does the scripture say about meat? Because that's what you're not looking at, is the meat part. I'm a vegetarian. I don't see the meat part. Vegetarian, no meat. But if you start studying what the scriptures say about meat, basar, maybe you can get them integrated. By the way, there's a lot of Jews who are vegetarians. Lots. But they integrate it. And I'm not going to give you the clue. Although, I will give you one key for $20 plus tax.
You got it.
It's a book. It's my book, The Gospel of the Kingdom.
Is that one?
No, this is Obedience or Understanding.
You mean Gospel of Zion?
The Gospel of Zion. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. The Gospel of Zion. Really?
I have that one.
Not this one. The Gospel of Zion. The Gospel of Zion talks all about the meat of the Besorah and why meat is so important.
This will help the listeners too.
So, if you got $20 plus tax in Texas, I do have a copy. So, care for a little mitzvah, you'll care for a big mitzvah.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.